Good evening, students. I hope you're all doing well. Good evening, Almas. Good evening, Yogita. I already getting wishes from the students. Good. So today we'll be discussing about chapter number 4, e-commerce, m-commerce, and emerging technologies. Before we get into it, I hope you're all enjoying the classes conducted by the Board of Studies. So please do attend and make use of these classes. So let me take you, like, as we go through the same process, let me try to give you the context of this chapter and what are all the topics we are going to cover for the next 4 sessions. As this chapter is a bit lengthy, based on our request, we got an extended one more session for this. So let us try to utilize best out of it. So it gives me an opportunity to spend good amount of time on certain technical concepts. So without further delay, let me get started. So as we all know, we have total 5 chapters in our paper 7A. Especially, we are going to discuss about e-commerce, m-commerce, and emerging technologies. So if you see here, so for today's session, we're going to touch base about what is meant by e-commerce. See, frankly, students, I can say most of the chapter, or I can say at least the first day of the session, the class means the content is very much practical and you can easily correlate with your day-to-day life. It doesn't require somebody to explain, but there are certain terminologies which you might be come across for the first time, but conceptually you are already experiencing it, using it, e-commerce, because you are the digital age kids. So you will definitely enjoy today's chapter. So we'll be covering about introduction to e-commerce, where we understand what is meant by e-commerce and how it was earlier happening, means the difference between the traditional e-commerce versus the traditional business versus e-commerce, and what are all the various benefits of e-business, how it is benefiting to the customers, how it is benefiting to the businesses, how it is benefiting to the government. Similarly, there are certain disadvantages of e-business. So we will also be touch base on the disadvantages. And the another important topic is, so there are various business models, and even in the previous examination. So this topic is an important from the examination perspective as well. So with this, we understand what is the basic definition of e-commerce, and we will get into the components of e-commerce. So a bit of some technical points, but again, not the deeper text. We will be discussing on it. This is the architecture of network systems. Students, if you remember, when we are discussing in chapter number 2, we have front and back end, where we discussed about the restaurant example. So at that point of time, I myself mentioned that we have this topic very detailed in chapter number 4, where we spend good amount of time to understand this layered application, the application layer, presentation layer, database layer. So this is the topic. Under architecture of networking system, we will be discussing about two-tier client server architecture, 3-tier client server architecture. And we will, once you understand the definition of it, what is the architecture being used for e-commerce businesses. So this is the point. See, you need to understand lot of topics. Like if you see from chapter number 1 and chapter number 2, in chapter number 1, you understand what is meant by a business process, how you can automate it. Okay, the theoretical part of it. In chapter number 2, they brought an ERP into the discussion and showed how those processes are automated in live environments, right? So the chapter 1 and 2 is interlinked like that. Chapter number 3, it purely talk about certain IT organizations, the base, some techies of the information systems. Chapter number 4, again, e-commerce, m-commerce, and emerging technologies. So a lot of concepts are interlinked from one chapter to another chapter. So if you can combine these topics together, you will get the best out of it. Even when we're discussing about core banking system, where we spend good amount of time in understanding different kind of servers, how the banking system works is one part of it. The other side is the technology behind the core banking system. So where you talk about different kind of servers, how they are connected. So to understand that, you already have the foundation from the last 4 chapters. So this is how all these chapters are interlinked. So make sure students, you attend all the classes so that you'll be able to follow up well. So basically, the ones which are in green color we'll be focusing on today, and the rest of the topics we'll be discussing in the rest of the classes. So in day 2 class, we'll be talking about the risks and controls related to e-commerce. And then guidelines and a couple of laws. So what are all the commercial laws? What are all the special laws that are applicable to e-commerce? And more, this is very interesting topic on digital payments. What are all the various modes of digital payments nowadays? We will be using it. Traditionally, what are all the digital payments? What is the new methods in digital payments? And also the advantages and drawbacks of it. So the most important topic is the computing technologies, where we will be talking and where you need to understand these different, I can say, advanced technologies, virtualization, grid computing. Couple of technologies I'll try to show again the live demonstration example on virtualization, how the virtualization can happen. One example I can show. So wherever possible, I will try to give the live examples. So this is very interesting, and lot of examination question comes from these computing technologies. So we'll be covering these entire computing technologies in day 3 and day 4. Finally, the case studies which is given in your syllabus, we will take through those case studies as well. I hope you got a fair view about what is we are going to discuss about the next 3 to 4 sessions. Good evening, students. Good evening. Good. So without further delay, let's get into the actual topic. Again, students, as the first, especially the day 1 topics is not something new to you. You already been using this. So I would like to hear more from you rather than I teach. So I just raised a couple of questions. I'll be expecting a lot of responses from you. So be attentive, be active. So the first topic is introduction to e-commerce. So as we discussed, so we'll be understanding what is meant by e-commerce, how it is different from the traditional way of doing business. First and foremost, I believe you understand commerce means business. Okay. E means electronically. So electronically you are doing business is what e-commerce. Anyway, we have a definition. Let's go through it. So first, let me read through the definition. Then we will see if you have any doubts or questions. So as what the definition says, the sale or purchase of good or service through electronic mode is called e-commerce. Very simple, but very exhaustive definition. So they covered the entire definition in one single straightforward statement. So e-commerce means it includes first and foremost, not only selling, purchasing. Okay. So you can sell it or you can purchase it. What items? It can be a good, means some product. It could be an electronic product or the cloth or some utensils, could be anything, some product, or as well as some service. Okay. So maybe, have you ever heard Urban Clap, right? Or OLX? So these are all the e-commerce vendors where they offer services. They don't offer any products. On Urban Clap, maybe if you have some electrical related work at your home, you can book an electrician. So if you have some plumbing related work, you can book a plumber. So on e-commerces, you can acquire the services as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that always you buy some physical products from them. So how you're doing all this transaction? Through electronic mode. This is most important. So that is the fundamental difference between the regular business versus e-commerce. Okay. So now if you combine the definition, the sale or purchase of good or services through electronic mode is called e-commerce. Okay. So this include, so how that can be done? By use of technology. So we will discuss in our next topic, what is the technology behind e-commerce businesses. So, but for now, just understand how we are making electronically by use of some technology. So for that, we will be using certain computers, certain mobile applications, certain desktops. So they have just given some examples. So with the use of technology, we are doing electronically the purchase or sale of goods or services is called e-commerce. So this is the definition part. Okay. Abhay, yes, Abhay, is definitely this is going to be an exciting chapter out of all 5 chapters, I can say confidently. Hiral, our ICI classes is an example of virtualization. Agree, but the context in which we are going to understand virtualization is a bit different. Okay, that is technicality part of it. Once we go into the topic, you will understand. But your statement is true, but not in the given context. Jaspreet, e-commerce is buying and selling goods and services online or through electronic mode. Absolutely, Jaspreet, true. Yeah, Amazon. So anyway, we'll be discussing a lot of times about Amazon and Flipkart. That's what I said. To understand this entire chapter, especially I can say day one topics. So always keep in mind, remember whatever e-commerce platform you regularly use, be it Amazon or a Flipkart. I don't endorse any platform per se, but try to use them, try to visualize them whenever we are discussing topics. So it will be easy to understand. So I hope the definition wise you are clear what is meant by e-commerce. So basically it is the process of doing business electronically in simple way. So what they does here in e-commerce, the buyers and sellers, they interact, how they will communicate electronically using a telecommunication networks. Okay. In simple terms, don't worry about this bigger term. Visualize it as internet. Okay. Rather than through physical contact or exchange. So that's the difference, right? Let's say before the introduction of these online businesses, how you use it to purchase or sell, you need to go to a shop. Even nowadays we are doing it, right? Not 100% of our daily purchases are through electronic mode. For sure, for certain items, you might go to nearby shop where you physically discuss with the seller and negotiate the price or pay the price and get the item. So that is still evitable. So you need to do it. Whereas in e-commerce, you don't have that physical interaction. All you do is electronically, means with the help of internet, you communicate with the seller. So it also involves automation of variety of transactions such as B2B, B2C, consumer to consumer, consumer to business through reliable and secure connections. So for this paragraph, just hold it. I'm not going to spend now what is meant by B2B, what is meant by B2C. We have a separate topic, so we can discuss in detail about these terminology. So far from the definition part, I hope you understand what is meant by e-commerce. Now, let us go with understanding what is the difference between traditional commerce and e-commerce. Now, students, before we see what is there in our book, can you tell me traditionally how businesses used to perform? I told you, right? You need to respond a lot for this chapter. Traditionally means previously. Think from the business side. Okay, don't think as an individual customer, but think from a business point of view. How previously the purchase and sale of transactions used to happen in the businesses. Nakul, yes, e-commerce is a purchase and sale of product electronically. True. Students, please tell me how previously the business transactions used to happen. I'm waiting for the responses. Barter system. Muktavyas, I think you went so far, so backwards. Don't go there. I'm just asking somewhere in 18th century or 19th century. Okay. Just before introduction of this internet, or you can say industrial 4.0. Through physical exchange. Okay. I'm basically expecting the steps. No worries. Let's see here how in traditionally the business used to happen. So there used to be a manufacturer. Okay. If you're talking about product as an example, so there will be a manufacturer who manufactures the product. So so from the manufacturers, the wholesalers will be there in the chain who takes the material from the manufacturers. What they do, they will in turn sell to retailers. Okay. A shop who actually sell to the end consumer. So finally, there will be a consumer or a customer who takes the product from the retailer. So this is how the traditional way of doing things. Again, there are multiple parties can add to it. Example, between manufacturer and wholesalers, we can also say distributors can also be there. Okay. So from manufacturers, it goes to distributor, from distributor to wholesaler, from here to here, from here to here. So this is how traditionally businesses used to happen. So any doubts on this? Oh, I'm seeing a lot of responses now. Maybe I think it's a delay in the chat box. Okay, good. A lot of enthusiasm in the students. So good. please keep the same enthusiasm till the end of the class. We'll have very beautiful concepts to discuss. Sonika, she has given the flow: manufacturer to dealer, retailer, customer. Absolutely. Traditionally, many meetings and negotiations. Even now that happens, Prakshali. So whether you do online or traditionally, most of the cases you still do it. Okay, happen physically by face-to-face interaction. Purchase is made by a personal visit. Meenan, yes, absolutely. So as you see here, this is how the traditional process works. So of course, it doesn't require any furthermore explanation. Let's quickly get into how in e-commerce the same purchase and sale transaction happens. Can you tell me, because definitely you might be using all the e-commerce website, how you do a transaction on e-commerce? So tell me, students, how, see, you have seen, right, how a flow happens in traditional commerce. Similarly in e-commerce, how it happens? Hiral, sale and advertising, C-route network problem में traditional method, manufacturer, yeah, that is traditional method. Almas has given an answer. Online ladies can't bargaining, sir. Okay. Yeah. So hurry up, students. How in new e-commerce? Because you understand the definition of e-commerce, right? You're doing a transaction electronically. So how the same purchase or sale transaction happens electronically is what I would like to hear. Let's see. So this is the classic example of how in electronic mode the transaction happens, where here the customer logs into that portal or open the portal where he can see the products. Okay. And then finally he searches on the website, identify the one he wants, and then he added it to the cart. Again, this doesn't require any explanation. So you might be doing every day a single one transaction, at least on e-commerce platforms. So you add that item which you wish to buy, and then finally you make the payment and the order is confirmed. So far we are very clear about this process because this activity is done by us. But once you order is confirmed on the back end, what happens? The same order, one confirmation goes to the merchant, one confirmation comes to the customer who placed the order. Hey, you placed an order, so this is your order details. So on the back end, the same order goes to the merchant as well. Merchant means, example, if you are buying this on Amazon platform, one order goes to Amazon company as well. So then they start the shipment process. So that's what they're saying. So they sent it to the warehouse. Hey, there is another order for this item. So please make it ready and ship it to the customer. So it's sent to the warehouse for fulfillment. Fulfillment means making it ready for shipping. That's it. So from the warehouse, it will be handed over to the courier agency. Finally, it comes back to the customer who placed the order. So this is the flow that is being happening in e-commerce business. So have you observed any difference between traditional commerce versus the e-commerce? Any pointer you can find out how, means see from which dimension the transaction is happening? Oh, I'm seeing a lot of responses. Yeah, merchant means seller, Jasprit. Harshita, go to website, select product, order product, make payment, receive the product. Yes, absolutely true. Janisha, search for the product, place order, payment online. See, if you got this question on the examination, you can, without preparation, you can write the answer, definitely. Okay, Almas, we have to log into their specific website, select the product, hence gateway of payment, open, hence we proceed. Yeah. Vihani, Hariram, view, catalog, select the good, place the order, make payment. Absolutely. So more or less, I'm seeing almost the exact answers. It's just that you need to elaborate much further. I can understand as you are placing on the chart, you are writing in a short form. Yes, yes. Good. So I have asked a question. We have seen how the transaction happens in the traditional commerce versus how the transaction happens in e-commerce. a shift in the dimension is previously the transaction flows means manufacturer used it to prepare the material, send to the wholesaler, finally it comes to the retailer, and then the consumer go to the retailer, see the items and then buy. So they shortened multiple cycles, multiple people, they eliminated multiple peoples in the cycle so that the transact means the product can directly reach to the customer. When the lot of middlemen have been removed, so you have a greater chance to make good product with less cost because the intermediary cost have been eliminated. And also the shift is, we will be discussing anyway the differences. One of the point is the supplier side resource focus. So whether it is happening supply side or demand side, I will discuss in detail about that point where. I hope you understand how the business used to happen in traditional versus e-commerce. Now, let us understand the differences between traditional versus e-commerce. So even this is also one of the examination questions, but for sure, it's very easy. So let's quickly run through it. Starting from I put it in a tabular format so that we can easily compare. From the definition part, traditional commerce means exchange of goods or services through personal interactions. So we all know that is what traditional commerce. From the e-commerce side, exchange of goods or services electronically. So that's the difference. How electronically you exchange via internet. So definition wise, we are already clear now. From the location part, if you see physical shops, so it should be easily accessible to customers. Okay, let's say you plan to open a shop, you kept it somewhere outside of the town or outside of the city. So, well, many customers come all the way to your shop and buy it. No, right? So you have a limitation from the location perspective. Let's say if you want to open a shop, you need to make sure that in that location, in that physical location, there are lot of people should be there first and foremost. Either there should be a residence or there should be people floating. Okay. If people keep floating, when I say floating, let's say you take an example of a shopping mall. Okay. Where nobody stays, but the everyday people will come and go. So as many people are coming, they might come to your shop and buy certain item. So whenever you are opening a physical shop, so the location is one of the major criteria for a business to get succeed. Whereas on e-commerce, you need not worry about it all. So you might be staying some part of the country, even in the remotest village, you can open your website where the people can access from any corner of the country, they can place an order. So the physical location matters in case of traditional commerce, but in the e-commerce part, what they are saying, the physical location is not matter, but that website should be visible and easily findable. Why they are saying it's a concern in the e-commerce means it's not a concern. The point you need to keep in mind. See, when I say e-commerce platform, can you tell me the top 3 e-commerce platforms in India? Yeah, we will discuss. You guys are giving a lot of answers now itself. All your points will come in one of the attributes here. So some they talk about purchase locally, the prices may be more when the product had gone through many intermediaries, but in e-commerce it is avoided. Yeah, yes, Jaspreet, as we talked about the cost-wise, comparatively e-commerces, you will get a better price, not only because of the intermediary cost, the maintenance cost also. Let's say if you're physically maintaining, you have to there is a point for that as well. So you need to purchase that item. See, example, you go to a shop, nearby shop, okay? If the retailer want to sell that product to you, what he has to do? He has to maintain that item on his inventory. First and foremost, that item should be there physically present in his shop. For that, he has to invest money on buying that product and maintaining in his inventory, and also safeguarding that product in his physical premises is always a risk to him. Whereas in e-commerce, the moment you place an order, at the time of placing an order, the merchant need not maintain the inventory at all. Many e-commerce vendors, they don't maintain the inventory with them at all. They finally say, once they got an order, they will indirectly place a back-to-back order. They send that order to the actual manufacturer. Hey, there is a customer order. You make it ready and deliver it to the customer. So in e-commerce business, the physical inventory is not needed. Yeah, I see responses. The major e-commerce platforms, Amazon, Flipkart. Okay, now Meesho also got added. True. Snapdeal, I think it's not doing great in the market. Lenskart, Zomato, Flipkart, Walmart. See, why you guys are giving, if I see all the answers, the first two answers is always Amazon and Flipkart. Do you think only these are the only players in the market? So there is nobody else in the market? Why you have given only these two names? Because, as they said, it should be visible. See, it is already means gone to the masses. Everybody knows if you need an item electronically, it means online. If you want to check for an item, by default you open Amazon, or by default you open Flipkart. You don't even care. There could be some other websites that gives more better price than Amazon or Flipkart also. How many of you, let's say, see, even by default, if I want to buy a product, I directly go to Amazon. I search in that Amazon. If I don't find that item in Amazon, I feel that item is not available anywhere in the market. Okay. Ideally, you should not do like that. Always, if you're looking for an item, at least search in Google. It will show you what are all the e-commerce websites where that product is available. Sometimes the same product might be available in another website. It could be, example, Reliance also have an e-commerce platform, Reliance Digital, or even Tata also have a Tata Click. Like this, there are other websites as well. So unless that is visible and easy to find, even though they are giving better prices, better product, better quality, that might not go to the people or a public. So this is what they're saying. In e-commerce side, the more focus should be, the website should be visible. When I say visible, how you can make it visible? So you keep advertising it whenever somebody is navigating, you pop up on the screen, somewhere on the page. Somehow you keep making the people understand that there is a company called, let's say, a Tata Click, where we also sell all the products what Amazon also selling, something like that. So this is the point. Now, from the size perspective, in the physical businesses, the size is influenced by the type of items, size of items, and number of customers. Okay. Example, if you take a furniture business, so if you would have seen any furniture shops, how much big shops, the physical stores they need to maintain, because the size of the item, let's say if they want to keep a cot, a double cot, or king size or a queen size, they need that much of space on the floor to keep that item. But at the same time, the same furniture shop, if you see, I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this, Urban Ladder, Pepper Fry. These are online furniture. So they are least bothered about the physical space. See, definitely they also need to maintain their inventory somewhere on the earth, but they need not necessarily bought the physical stores on the main road where they need to pay a huge amount of rents to the landlords. Instead of that, they can maintain their godown some remotest part of the country. Whenever a customer order is received on the website, they can deliver it within a week or 2 weeks. So India, logistically, we are doing exceptionally well. We still not need to do more, but in spite of having this big geographical country, our delivery or supply chain system is doing great. So nowadays, if you see, a lot of items are delivered 1 day delivery, even within 2 hours delivery. Nowadays, some of the grocery items are coming in 10 minutes delivery. So we are going exceptionally well in the delivery side part to it. So here, if you see on the e-commerce part, it is influenced by the product and customers. So basically, when we talk about size, it's not the item size that is influenced in the e-commerce. The size here, it is influenced by the bandwidth, processing power to manage heavy traffics. Here, the size means, example, if you see on Amazon platform or a Flipkart platform, on a single day, there could be millions of orders being processed on those websites. So in order to process that many number of transactions, they need to maintain the infrastructure. Means when I say infrastructure, could be the backend machines, the networks, the LANs, the bandwidth, means the internet bandwidth, and also the server capacity, the RAM's capacity. All these things they need to maintain. That is what size in e-commerce business. Whereas in physical, it is the item size or kind of item or a size of item. That is what matters in traditional commerce. So on the marketing part, it is physical presence, physically there. So it will be one to many. So there is a shop here. So there will be lot of customers, right? Whereas in the e-commerce side, they need to invest more on marketing, and especially they say it's a one-to-one marketing. Why they say one-to-one marketing? Basically, as you see there, you have given a lot of examples of e-commerce businesses, Amazon, Flipkart. How many of you know that there is a new e-commerce vendor that come into market now, which is Tata New. So this is again, see, Tata's already there in the e-commerce business, as I said, Tata Click, but they brought a new digital platform called Tata New, NEU, where they brought in all their e-commerce businesses. Be it Big Basket is also one of the major investors by Tata Group, and the Tata Click and Chroma, all these individual online platforms, they brought together into Tata New. So if you see there, how many of you know about Tata New? Very few, or maybe no. Why? Because it has to reach to you by one. See, unless maybe when I say one-to-one marketing, how it could be, they should have sent an email to you saying that, hey, we started a new business called Tata New. Or maybe when you are browsing something on the internet, that pop-up should be there. So which is given to you only, means you could able to see on the desktop. On the same time, if somebody else logged in from their machine, that advertisement might not be able to pop up. So that's called one-to-one mapping, one-to-one marketing. So this is how they need to do business in e-commerce side. So from the transaction processing side, it's purely manual, whereas here electronic. So I hope you understand the differentiating factors. Let me see if you have any doubts so far. Yeah, Himanshu, yes, Jepto 10 minutes. A lot of businesses are coming with that 10 minutes delivery part. Yeah. Correct, Pooja. So we will discuss about the disadvantages of e-business, the point you mentioned, prolonged delivery time, troubles in returning. So all these are disadvantages of e-business. Correct. Now let's proceed with the next pointers. See, these are very simple to understand, as it doesn't have any technicality. I'm just going through it fast. So from the availability perspective, if you see on the traditional commerce, it is limited availability. What do they mean by limited availability? Basically, if you want to buy an item from the shop should be open. Usually at what times they open? Maybe 9 to 6 or 9 to 9 max, or 9 to 10 or 11. If you want sometime in the mid of the night, if you need an item tomorrow morning, can you go and buy from them? No. But if you see example, platforms like grocery platforms like Big Basket and all, if you place an order, within 2 hours they are delivering the items. So might not be the night times, but definitely by tomorrow morning you can get an items in front of your home, but you can still place an order at any point of time. So that's why they say this platform can be accessed 24/7. So that's availability perspective. It has a limited availability, whereas e-commerce is accessible on 24/7. Nature of purchase. So from the purchasing direct dimension, what they're saying, in a physical transaction, I can inspect the transaction and then purchase. When you go to a shop, you see the item. If you're satisfied with the item, you can check all those manufacture date, when it is getting expired, and who made it, what is the MRP price, what is the offered price, all those verifications, whether the item is properly there or not. Some items you can inspect as well. So all those things you can do in case of physical business. Whereas in e-commerce, that is not possible at the time of purchase. So what they're saying, at the time of purchase, you can't inspect before purchase. Once you place an order will come to you, item will come to you. You can check based on the return policy or replacement policy. If you don't like it, or if that item has any issues, you can return it back. But the inspection point of view, in the physical business, you can do before purchase, whereas in e-commerce, you can only do it after purchase. From the customer interaction, so one of the student was mentioning, when I'm talking about the differences between traditional and e-commerce, in a physical businesses, it has face-to-face. You go to a shop, you directly discuss with the seller and then buy it. It's a face-to-face interaction. Whereas in e-commerce, it's a screen to face. So all you see is the screen. you never interact with the person who is actually selling it. Even on Amazon, not every item is sold by Amazon. On the item, they'll mention who is the seller. Have you ever interacting with the seller? No. All you are seeing was checking on the platform, seeing all those details, what you want, and then you are placing an item, placing an order. So that's called screen to face. Whereas here, face to face. Now, business scope point of view, if you see from the scope side, as it is physically located in a specific area, it is limited to that particular area. Example, if that shop is in one part of your town, maybe the people who are residing or going in that area only come to know about that shop. Whereas in e-commerce, we all know that, right? We don't even know that from where that business is being operated. Frankly speaking, it's seamless, right? Every customer across the country can place orders and then get the items what they want. So here it's a worldwide reach. Even foreign people, means out of your country also you can make an order. If you see there on Amazon, let's say on Amazon, if you take an example as Amazon has foreign operations. Amazon.in is for India. Okay. If you go to Amazon.com, that is for US. If you go for Amazon.eae, it is for United Arab Emirates. So you can still buy an item. Maybe certain items not available on Amazon.in. You can go to Amazon.com, place an order, and you can still get that item to India. Legally, it is accepted. Only thing is, there will be some charges. Customs duty or the transportation cost, stamp duty, blah, blah, blah. So some charges will be there, additional charges. Sometimes that makes you 200% of the item cost. So people will be very careful when they are buying an item. Whenever they need it, and especially if that item is not available here, you can still procure from any part of the country, any part of the world. So that's what they are saying. The other point they are talking about, information exchange. What does that mean? No uniform platform versus provides a uniform platform. Let's say you go to a supermarket. If you want to, in supermarket, there are different kinds of products are available, right? Even talk from the mobiles. Let's say in Hyderabad, we see that Big C, a lot of local shops also there who will be selling those products. Even Chroma, physical stores will be there. So if I want to compare those product features, okay, let's say my budget is some 20,000 or 30,000. I go to a physical store where I want to buy certain mobile phone. So I asked that person, shopkeeper, hey, my budget is 20,000 and these are the minimum features I want. Can you show me the mobiles? Based on his interest and mindsets, and especially the products, what he is currently holding his inventory, he will be displaying those items. Okay, but we never know whether those are correctly fitting in that budget, whether the features wise all are good or bad. So it's difficult to get that uniformity in the information. Whereas in online platform, so nowadays many platforms give compare option. You select this product, select it for comparison. You also select the second product, select for comparison, and then system automatically compare this product and put it in a tabular format. So on these dimensions, these are the differentiating factors. So example, on mobile A, this is the camera resolution. On mobile B, there is the camera resolution. So it presents the information in more uniform way so that you can make a better informed decision. So that is possible in e-commerce business, but in physical or a traditional commerce, it's not that great. See, there are certain shops who gives a small piece of paper they keep beside the product where they can highlight the points. But if you want to compare, you have to do it manually. But in online, it's very easy. System will do it for you because they maintain that information uniformly so that they can compare and give a better decision. So this is about information exchange. Okay, Mukta, how Google earns its income. So predominantly they do advertising and some franchising model. Let us not get into that. Let's continue the rest of the points. If you see the resource focus, students, before starting of this concept, when we showed how the business used to happen in traditional versus e-commerce, I have asked a question. Have you observed any difference in the way the transaction used to happen? So this is the point I would like to highlight here. resource focus. In traditional businesses, the resource focus is on the supply side. Means, let's say, if you know what how that flow happens in traditional business, right? There is a manufacturer who has to manufacture the product, and it has to get through the wholesaler, and then finally to retailer, and then to consumer. Let's say you as a consumer, you've gone to a shop. If you want to purchase an item from that shop, first and foremost, that item should be physically available in the shop. So that item should be supplied. That item has to be manufactured, delivered by it has to be taken care by the wholesaler, and then retailer, finally to the consumer. So it has to come all the cycle to be available in the shop, then only you can buy. So the resource focus is on the supply side. If somebody is producing that item and keeping that item there, then only you can buy. Whereas on the e-commerce, as I told you, at the time of you placing an order, it's not necessarily on supply side. It is on the demand side. The moment Amazon or a Flipkart comes to know there is a customer who is interested in this product, once you place an order, then they can go back to the manufacturer and then get the item and deliver it to you, right? So this is what demand side. So I hope you understand this point, students. Any doubt on this? Resource focus, supply side versus demand side. Okay, good. So let's move on to the next one. From the payment wise, how in the traditional way the payments used to happen? Cash, you might be paying cash, checks, credit cards. But nowadays I can say you can add UPI also. Wherever you go, you scan a QR code and make the payment. Whereas on the e-commerce side, these are all the various modes: cash on delivery, credit cards. You might be paying through payment wallet, could be Phone Pay, Amazon Pay, Google Pay. All these are payment wallets, and UPI also there. So fundamentally, there are certain payment methods you can use in both physical as well as in the e-commerce part. But example, on the especially cash, you pay the cash and take the item. Whereas you also have here cash on delivery, but not all the products or all e-commerce vendors will encourage this cash on delivery. Here, certain times they might charge some extra amount as well. If you are opting the cash on delivery, let's say they say 50 rupees extra, something like that. Okay. So there is again, some students again asked the clarification on the resource focus. How we say the resource focus is supply side in traditional versus demand side in e-commerce. Let me go back to that flow chart. Yeah. If you see here, for a customer, he wants to buy certain product. Okay. Let's say there is some product which the customer wants to buy in traditional commerce. So the moment you went to the retailer shop, this item first and foremost should be available here. Let's say you go there and want to buy some, what I can say, some product. Maybe you can take any example which you regularly buy. Let's say some bathing soap, something like that. So here, that soap, that branded soap should be available with the retailer to be able to purchase by the customer. Okay. So in order to avail this product at retailer stage, it has to be supplied by the respective people. Initially, it has to be produced, and then it has to be distributed by the wholesaler to the retailer. So the focus means the product should be here so that the customer can come and take it. Okay. So the focus is on the supply side. First and foremost, it has to be supplied. Whereas on the e-commerce business, as you see in the diagram, you place it for the same item. Okay. Let's say you placed an order for the same item. Assume that you placed an order online. At that point of time, the merchant, example, if you take an Amazon, maybe he need not maintain that inventory with him at all. He need not maintain. Once he got an order, basically they'll be giving an estimated delivery time, right? What he can say, I will deliver this product in 1 week. So within that 1 week, what Amazon does, they go to the manufacturer. Okay. Hey, I got an order for your product. Can you deliver it back to me so that I can give it to my customer within that 1 week? So he knows that usually how much time it will take to get that item from the manufacturer, and then finally he will deliver it to the customer. So here the focus is on the demand side. Means once the customer demanded that product, then only the product will come and sit in the code, right? So that is the dimension, the difference between traditional business versus e-commerce. See, Mansha, agree. Unless the product is not available, they'll not show it as for sale. You might be seeing that sold out. Okay, but basically, if you see, not necessarily that they always maintain inventory with them. Okay, they have an agreement with the supplier. Hey, you keep updating how much stock you always have with me. I'll keep in my platform. I don't want to maintain your stock with me. See, if Amazon need to store all the items, they are selling some million items, million types of items. How you can visualize they can store all those items in their inventory? Of course not. Himanshu, there is a question here. Can I say in supply side, resource focus, seller is king, holding inventory with themselves in e-commerce today? Then how demand side is universally a point of distinction? I didn't get you, Ayush, your question. Tanush, yeah, thank you. I believe, yeah. Information exchange. Information exchange means, as I told you, let's say you can let us go to some online platform. Okay, so you come to some online platform here, right? Let's take an example of this product, some random product. How organized way they kept this information. So they will be given the full and foremost details about that product. What is the features they highlighted here, and maybe at the end, if you see here, all the features they have given in a tabular format, and also reviews. All this information is available. So this is what they're talking about on the information per se. On the e-commerce side, this information is very uniformly. Now, in the same structure, you select some other product. Maybe I go to electronics now. I select some headsets. Okay. Here also, if you see the similar pattern, what is that item? What are all the technical features of that item? And also, they have given highlighted what is the key features of that item. So there is a uniformity here. Whereas if you go to a physical shop, they don't maintain in that format, right? For everything, you need to reach out to the means that sales agent who is there, and whatever the information he shared, then only you will get to know. But what is the complete information? They don't follow any standardization. That's what the information exchange. Yeah, good. So let's go back to the rest of the points then. So on the delivery of goods point of view, in the traditional commerce, it happens instantaneously. You go to a shop, take the item, pay the amount, done. Whereas in the e-commerce, usually it takes time, but as we all know that you have 1 day delivery, few hours delivery, even nowadays, few minutes also. As one of the students rightly said, Zepto, a lot of people are coming in the 10 minutes delivery zone. From the fraud perspective, in traditional commerce, in physical businesses, it is relatively lesser. Okay, they are not saying that there won't be any frauds at all. It's relatively lesser because you have an option to inspect the item before you purchase, and also there is no doubt that you are not getting that product. You take that product, then only you are making payment. Whereas in e-commerce businesses, see, we're not talking about the bigger platforms like Amazon or a Flipkart. There could be hundreds of e-commerce websites on the internet. There could be certain websites which you and me are very new to them, but we found that item only available in that website. You might have paid the amount, but that item was not delivered to you at all. That can happen, right? So that's what they're saying. So from the frauds perspective, here it is lesser, whereas in e-commerce, it's a bit higher. From the process point of view, it is completely manual in nature. Chances of clerical errors are high because as somebody is doing manually, there is a high chance of errors. Whereas in e-commerce, it's completely automated process. So it minimizes the clerical errors. See, nowhere if you see these 2 points, they're not saying 100% it's great in e-commerce. It also have its own disadvantages or limitations. Now, from the profit point of view, as we all know, in the physical businesses, it has a reduced margin. Why? Because they will be having multiple layers in selling. As we have seen, there are multiple people, intermediaries, before the actual product reaches to the customer. So let's say if the product is manufactured at the rate of 100, the customer might be getting in the market is 250. So in between, 150 rupees is taken care by all the intermediaries. Whereas in e-commerce business, you need not dependent on all these intermediaries. You can directly sell to the your end customer. So that's why it eliminates the middleman, which helps you to reduce the cost. Ultimately, it helps you to increase your margin. Whereas in the physical shop, you will be having a limited customers, because we have talked about the location, right? So physically where you located, only maybe the customers who are the people who are residing in that area will be buying from your shop. Whereas in e-commerce, even from a customer from another country also can buy. So they will be having a limited customers. When the customers are limited, your margins also, your income will also be less. Inventory and overhead costs. So as we already discussed, in physical shops, they have to maintain that inventory. Okay. So to maintain that inventory, they might be required to pay that amount in advance to the suppliers, or as they're physically holding it, they need to ensure that the product is not getting spoiled or not damaged. If it So due to all these factors, the margin at the end, their profit layer is comparatively reduced when compared to e-commerce. See, many products you might be experiencing in your real life, the same item, if you go to a physical shop versus e-commerce, there will be difference. So in most of the cases, it will be less in e-commerce due to the factors mentioned here. So I hope you understand the differences between traditional versus e-commerce. Let me quickly see if there are any questions on this. Sonika, there are 16 points. Yes. So it depends on the how many marks they have answered. But again, see, if you try to find out, means don't try to mug it or read it as some theory part. Just put some connection, how it become different. So almost that 16 points, I can confidently say nearly 10 points without reading this material itself, you can write. All you need to do was how to put it in more presentable way is what you need to figure out. So I don't see a big challenge in writing answer for this. Tanvi Agarwal, there is a question from her. It means in traditional method, demand will be made only when there is a supply, but in e-commerce, when there is a demand, there will be a supply. Absolutely. That's what I would like to make a point there. Correct, Tanvi. You got it. So Mukta Vyas, what is the difference between market space and marketplace? Kind of same. Again, it given in the context we need to understand. Mukta Vyas, okay, you are trying to understand. Good. Does ICI is doing an e-commerce while accepting registration process? See, if that involves any profit motive, then only you call it as an e-commerce. Commerce means we are business. If ICI is doing business out of it, no, right? Ours is not a business motive. Yeah, Hiral, correct. It's kind of just-in-time approach, but again, that explanation is not applicable for all the products, because even when you are reading about just-in-time, you can't apply that formula to every product. Certain products can't be applied with that. Okay, let's take this quick assessment to understand how far you will be able to follow so far. We've been discussing almost close to an hour now. Choose the incorrect statement from the following statements on traditional versus e-commerce. Students, can you please share your answer for this? Absolutely, Jaspreet. That's what even I would suggest you. Don't read this as a theory paper. Try to apply to your real life. As being a professional, that is what we need to do. Take it any subject. I'm not suggesting you apply this only for EIS. Be it accounting, costing, taxation. That's the beauty in our course, where everything you can apply to your real-time experiences. Students, please share your responses to this question. Wow, great. So I see a lot of answers now, B. So you got a complete picture what is meant by the demand side versus supply side. Good. So I can see almost every answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost some 10 answers I can see on this window. All the students has given B as an answer. Great. So you understood that concept. Now, so we started our discussion what is meant by e-commerce, and we understood how traditionally the business used to happen, and then we also understood how the same used to happen, means how it used to happen in e-commerce. The next thing we understand was what are all the various factors that got differ from traditional versus e-commerce. Now it's an illustration of e-commerce transaction. This is a simple steps as you already wrote in the starting, how you do an e-commerce transaction. See here, you go to a website. If you don't have a user ID, you create it and then log it. Finally, you look for the product which you buy. So it just the same steps what you have given in the chart window. Nothing much to discuss here. Now, so far we will be discussing about if you ask me somebody, if you ask somebody now, we have been saying in some context the e-business is greater or a very good than the physical business, considering the advantages we could able to get it. Okay, now let's pinpoint what are all the benefits of having e-business. But again, here we classified the businesses by stakeholders. So let's say from the customer's point of view, what are all the advantages of e-businesses? So as we already discussed, let us see what are all the advantages here. Convenience. So this is the best advantage for an e-commerce business. You can sit in your home comfortably, open your mobile or a desktop, open that website, place an order. You need not take any effort to travel to the shop, negotiate with the person, and again carefully take that product back to your home, right? Very convenient. From all the means various factors helped you to be convenient. One, you can make it at your convenient time. It is accessible on 24/7, and lot of product range is available for you to selection. And best price, you can compare the best price. Normally, if you want to get a best price for a product, how you can do physically? You physically go to a store, ask the price, negotiate it, and finally get the final best price from him. Go to a next shop, again do the same activity, get the best price, and then compare who is giving the best price, and finally you take it. So lot of effort is needed. Whereas in online, forget about one website. There you can parallelly open multiple websites and check what is that product which is available in on which website that product is available at best price, and finally you buy it. So various factors you can write under convenience part. Time saving, as we know that yes, of course it takes a lot of time if you're doing a transaction on online versus physical, and various options for comparison. So you can compare with multiple vendors, as well as on the same Amazon. Let's say if you're going with a budget, I want a mobile phone for 10,000. If you get in Amazon a price range, fix that in a search criteria with the price range, you could have get hundreds of mobiles. But if you go to a physical store, that store has a limitation, right? They cannot maintain hundreds of models as an inventory with them. So they do have limitation, but whereas in e-commerce, they are not having any issue. So they can maintain even 1,000, even 1 lakh different kind of mobile phones on their platform. And easy to find reviews. This is one of the biggest advantage. So you can check the product, especially we go to the rating, whether it is a 4-star out of 5-star, 2-star, 3-star, based on the customer reviews, you go for it. We know the other side of the coin as well. Sometimes certain e-commerce websites or the suppliers make these reviews false. So it's a paid reviews. You pay to certain people certain amount, they will give a rating for you. So like that also can happen. So that is a risk into it. And coupons and deals. So you'll be checking a lot of offers on the website, right? Some offers might be given by Amazon itself. Example, like Amazon or a Flipkart, yearly they come up with Big Billion Days, Great India Festival, couple of special days sale, they'll be doing it. At that point of time, they themselves reduce the product price to a greater extent. On top of it, there will be some credit card or a bank offers. If you use this bank card, you'll get 5% or a 10% additional discount subject to certain limits. So coupons and deals are available and anytime access. So these are all the benefits to the customers because of e-businesses. can we buy? Can we bargain online? Jahnavi, you can't bargain with the certain platforms, but there are certain platforms like OLX. There, see, on OLX also used product the another customer is selling, right, where you can bargain. So I don't say a hard and fast rule that yes or no. It depends on the platform where you are doing your transaction. Now, so we have seen what are the advantages to the customer. Similarly, there are certain benefits to the businesses as well. Let us see what is those. Increased customer base. We already discussed in the length and breadth. For e-commerce business, there is no boundary. Anybody can place an order and they can ship it. Previously, couple of years ago, there used to be certain issues with the delivery part. Even I can say very remote, certain places in India is not still have the delivery access. They'll be delivering to the nearest location or a nearest city or a town. Okay, but comparatively, as you are able to deliver across the country, even your customer base is increased. Customers can order from anywhere on your platform. Recurring payments made easy. Let's say if you are paying monthly bills, nowadays you talk about electricity bill, your mobile bill, a postpaid or a prepaid recharges. Previously, I can still remember those days when we are using prepaid mobile phones. We need to find out the recharge shops. We need to go there, get a scratch card, or they used to do from their mobile to our mobile number. Sometimes it used to happen, sometimes it used to fail, and again all those intricacies will be there. But with the advantage custom sellers, right, and especially let's say you are there in not in a metropolitan city, some city, some town or a village. There used to be only one seller in your area. You urgently need a certain item, or you need an item which you want to buy. If you want to go to a nearest town or a city, it's far away from you. So there they have an advantage. Whether you like it or not, he will say, I will sell this product only for this price. You have to buy it if you need it. No other go. Even though you bargain, he might not even listen to you. Whereas in e-commerce, that's not the case. As we said, as it has given a convenience. In the comfort of your home, you can check on multiple websites, and whichever website gives the best price, you can go for it. So retaining the customers in the online business is very tough. So your prices should be very competitive. Okay. So that's the reason they always provide the dynamic market so that customers can come to their platforms and buy more items. Reduction in cost because of that, the point we discussed, right? Reduction, elimination of intermediaries, and the operating costs are very less. Efficiency improvement. Why? Because it's completely automated. So when there is involvement of automation, it improves the efficiency of the process. Creation of new markets. As I said, once you create, there is no boundary or a geography you are limited by. So you can across spread, anybody can place an order. At the same time, easier entry to new markets. Let's say previously, if you want to start your business in a particular location physically, you need to take care of a lot of rules and regulations, right? What is that local compliances and all those stuff. On the e-commerce platform, it's not the case. You need not worry about that new markets. Once you start on your platform, people from different geographical locations can come to your platform and buy the items. Low barriers to entry. So more or less, these are all together interrelated. So there are no restrictions to entry. If you want to start a business, you can start it. Nobody will stop you. Better quality of goods. Why? You have a lot of competitors in the market. See, if you feel that on Amazon or a Flipkart, you don't get a quality product, you will not even go back to that website at all. So it is their responsibility to maintain quality of good so that customers can keep coming into it. And also you have that reviews feature where somebody can abruptly write, I bought this product from this platform where the product is not at all good. So if the reviews are not good, they are losing the customers. They are not buying on your platform. Ultimately, you will lose the revenue. So they always ensure that good quality or genuine products are sold on their websites. Elimination of time delays. So as I said, so they are very pre-committed from the time perspective. So if they commit, it will be delivered in 1 week. Many of the instances, the product come a bit early than the promised date. So they ensure that the items have been delivered on time. So these are the various advantages that a business gets it. Of course, a lot of advantages, right? As Pooja said, a lot of exam books are available on online platforms, which can hardly find in physical shops. See, the major reason for them to maintain that much of collection of books, you and me might need one category of book. There could be another customer, another faculty book or another branded book he might want. So where is the limitation there? They can't keep entire inventory of that subject books, right? So then they have to invest huge amount, and especially they need a physical premises, right? We also talked about the size. So based on the item and the category of item, size of the item, they need a big physical location. And if the size is going up, the maintenance cost, rental cost, people, the sellers or agents in the shop, so they need to hire more people as the shop is big. So a lot of things comes into picture. So they definitely check on the cost benefit part. Shreya, yes, absolutely. In physical businesses, some amount of monopoly was exist. Nowadays, it's not there. Okay, Mukta, recurring payments. See, when you say recurring payments, with the payment which you make frequently, let's say let's talk about electricity bill payment. Okay, how we are doing now. Previously, if you want to make electricity bill payment, you need to go to your example. If you are in a village, I can remember those days when I am in my village, there used to be electricity bill collector come on a frequent basis, or we have to go to the nearest town, the electricity department. There used to be a counter, stand in the queue, give your bill and amount, and then he used it to record in his system. That is how it used to happen. But now if you see on Paytm or Google Pay or a Phone Pay or Amazon Pay, they themselves send a reminder, hey, your electricity bill is generated, check whether you paid or not. So either I can pay once I got a reminder, or I can make it auto debit. Automatically when the bill is generated, the amount will be get deducted from my credit card or a debit card or my wallet balance. So these are all the payments are made easy because of these e-businesses. Okay, I hope you understand that point. Tanvi, for your point, there is a question from Tanvi. How selling better quality of good be a benefit for business? It will be benefit for customer. Of course, it is benefit for customer, but as I said, if you are selling inferior quality products, ultimately what happens? You will be losing business, right? Who will come to your shop and buy, or who will come to your platform and buy? Okay, now tell me, as many students told, Amazon or a Flipkart, predominantly I see these two. So a couple of students added Snapdeal or Meesho. Why you are not going to another platform? Because the trust you gain on these platforms, if I buy a product, this could be quality product. They don't sell inferior quality products. Some trust they gained over a period of time. So ultimately, it is their job also making it a quality of good. So they get more customers. When more customers are buying on their platform, they get more revenue. So that's an advantage for them as well, maintaining the quality of good. So that's how they're saying the point. Okay. See, Ayush, how recurring payments in the context is a benefit to business. See, when these are made, especially very easy, nowadays, if you see, very less chances of bill default. Previously, for various reasons, example, when you need to physically visit an electricity department and make a payment on so and so date, maybe for some reason you might have gone out of town. So they will not get their money on time. See, ultimately you will pay, because if you don't pay, they'll cut your electricity. So they'll get their money back. So there used to be a time delays, or there could be errors as well. So he came the amount, but for some reason, the person who entered could be when humans are involved, always there is a chance of mistakes, right? So as that process is completely manual, there could be a chance of human errors. But if you see on the electronic mode, I don't even bother about that payment. Automatically, it will get deducted from the business side. they are getting their money on time without any issue. It is deducted on the time, they are receiving the funds on time, and there is a complete audit trail. So even if there is an issue in this transaction, they can check with the bank and with the service provider and finally the end merchant. So all these things they can check. So of course, I should say that it's a benefit to the business as well. See, again, maybe you might ask, again, this is also a benefit to the customer. Of course, that's what we talked about, convenience, right? You can categorize this as a convenience, one of the benefit to the customer. It's not from the number point of view here, all the benefits versus customer versus benefit. You have to see the context. So of course, see, if something has to work out, it should be a win-win situation. If customers alone are gaining benefits, why businesses will come to the business online? So there will be a trade-off. Certain areas they'll get benefit, certain areas the other will get benefit. Now let us see the benefits to government. So here what they're saying, instrument to fight corruption. So of course, you might have appreciated this from last 2015 onwards, where our government has tried a tremendous way to eliminate the manual transaction and digitize all the transactions. So due to this, if every transaction is done via banking route, so there is a less chance of cash usage, and especially that black money cases have been reduced a lot. Nowadays, if you see any transaction you make, so they have a record, so they can easily catch hold of you. So ultimately, it helps them to fight corruption and reduction in use of ecologically damaging materials. So previously, for governments, see, again, when I say e-commerce, lot of don't always remember the product. Even rendering service also is a part of e-commerce, right? From the government perspective, lot of services they use it to provide via physical documents or a physical way of getting things done. Nowadays, if you see, let's say you need a birth certificate, okay, or you need some certificate from the government, be it a property or a domicile certificate, birth certificate. How it used to happen previously? You need to go to a local panchayat or a local mandal revenue office, where you submit everything on documents, and then they process those documents and finally give back that certificate. Nowadays, if you see the same service, how they made it digitized, I can log into the government portal. Each state have some local websites as well. So you log into that portal, or you can go to the service provider. Example, in my state, we have Me Seva or E-Seva. So these kind of government departments are there, and there could be service providers in each and every town, each and every street or near locality. For every colony, there will be one Me Seva or E-Seva, where I go to that particular outlet. I request them, hey, I need a birth certificate. Can you help me in filing this request? So he made everything online. So government got the request, and they finally give that certificate via online. If I want a physical copy, I have to pay some extra amount. I can download it. So a lot of usage of paper have been reduced. So by making digitization of their process, so that's how it also helps ecologically damaging materials instead of paper use. I just took an example, okay, to explain you to this point. So in that example, they eliminated all those physical process and digitized the transaction. Finally, you will take one physical copy of your original certificate, whatever you want. So that is how the benefits to government. So I hope you got a clarity on the different kind of advantages the e-commerce business offers to customers, businesses, and government. Now let us quickly see on the disadvantages part. So as I said, not that one side of the coin is great, you have to see the other side as well. So from the disadvantages point of view, first and foremost is, if you want to start an e-business, so the major disadvantages is it always require internet connection. Okay, if you don't have an internet connection, you cannot do a transaction. So it's a mandatory thing. So that's why they say it's a disadvantages. Whereas in physical businesses, you don't have this kind of requirement, right? Whether you have internet or not, you can still go and buy it. Again, if you further explain it, not everybody are familiar in usage of internet, and many times even maybe your grandparents or even elderly people, or who are not required literate about using these e-business models, so they hesitate to place an order on online. Instead, they are happy to go to a physical shop, buy an item, even though it is 100 rupees more than the e-commerce business. So for various reasons, they might have their own justifications. So having a requirement of internet connection is a disadvantage, because without internet connection, you cannot do the transaction. And high startup cost. Now, couple of minutes ago, we talked about the e-businesses doesn't require a physical infrastructure. So of course, from the capital expenditure point of view, the e-businesses are better. Now they are saying high startup cost. So how come this high cost came into picture all of a sudden? Now, let us see the context in which they are talking about. What they're saying, it requires the connectivity. You need to make sure that your platform, your e-commerce platform is accessible, and hardware and software, and the setup and maintenance. So in simple terms, all they're talking about technology. So a lot of applications need to be there. You need to maintain your web servers, the application servers, the platform need to be maintained. See, you might think very easy of opening an e-commerce website, but visualize a website like Amazon or a Flipkart where millions of customers places millions of transactions on a single minute overall country. So they should have a huge infrastructure to manage these orders. See, everybody has an account. From the start of my account till today, all my item purchases details they need to store under my account category. How many times I purchased, at what price, what is the invoice. I can download even now the item which I purchased 2 or 3 years back. Now I still log into my Amazon account and download the invoice. So in order to maintain this information, they need a heavy technical infrastructure. So that actually ended up giving a lot of startup costs. That's what they mean. Now from the legal issues, why it is a disadvantage for them, as we are giving our personal information like our addresses, our banking details. If any information got leaked or gone to unauthorized people, who is legally responsible? The platform. Because I trusted you, that is the reason I have given this information to you. If somebody thefted that information from you, you are accountable. People may sue you, or they will lose trust on you and they will never come back to your website. Whereas in physical businesses, you don't have all these things, right? You simply go there, you pay cash, get the item. You need not worry about maintaining your data safely. So that's what they're saying. In the e-commerce, you have legal issues. And certain businesses may never lend themselves to e-commerce. Example, jewelry or a perishable food. So for them, e-commerce model will not work. See, even though your textbook says jewelry and all, but nowadays a lot of businesses are coming online, but they might come online. But have you seen any of your family members or friends buying jewelry online? I don't see, at least I can say none of my friends and family never buy jewelry online. Basically, we have that emotional touch, right? You have to go to the shop. One, it is a high value item, so you don't trust in placing an order online. Another thing, basically, especially if you see from women who are the highest consumers of the gold or jewelry, they personally have to see the item, they touch it, they feel it, they will try it. So to do all these things, online business will not be a good model for jewelry. But again, nowadays, if you see, there are certain businesses coming online like Malabar. They have online stores as well. But the amount of sale, if you see, physically, they get more sale than online sale. So it's a disadvantage for certain businesses going online. And cultural impediments to e-businesses, because certain people, as I told you, even I have one of my neighbor who is around close to 80 years or a 75 years aged person. He's educated, okay, but he's very reluctant to use e-commerce platforms because he's a bit scared if I buy certain item on there, whether that item is qualitative or not, or I'm giving my credit card details or debit card details, somebody can take that information. I don't have any control. So they might have their own fears of using e-commerce. So this is also one of the disadvantages to the e-businesses. And security concern. As I said, when you are exposing your business to the outside public, always you are at a high risk. If you're doing your business within your premises, nobody can come and theft your item from your control, right? It's very difficult. Whereas in online, somebody can interrupt your network and get the details, or even change the orders, order deliveries. So a lot of things can happen on online. So these are all the disadvantages for the e-commerce business. Okay, students, any doubts so far? Of course, as I said, Pooja, it's not that always one is good than the other. It depends on scenario to scenario. Absolutely. As Manish rightly pointed out, I think many of you might have experienced this as well. If you buy certain items online, okay, or even if you go and argue with the same product, let's say I saw a particular branded mobile online for some X price. Now you visited a particular shop, local shop, and you said, hey, why you are giving it so much high? He simply says, sir, if you buy online, you won't get warranty. So this is a classic statement they make it. Another thing, they will say something, sir, it's not original, or it might be some used or duplicate, something they say, so that they always claim that their product is genuine and you will get 100% satisfactory service, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Good. So let's move on to the next interesting topic, e-marketing. Okay. Now, students, don't lose the focus. We are going in a very logical way. We started understanding what is meant by e-commerce, how it is different between traditional versus e-commerce, what are all the benefits and disadvantages of e-commerce. Now we are trying to understand e-marketing. Okay. As a simple definition, e-marketing is the process of marketing a product or service using the internet. So see, physically, when you're doing marketing, you either do with the help of some pamphlets or advertisements. The topic is business models. You need to understand these two. I'm going to ask you to interlink these two concepts to make sure that you understand the concept. Okay. So now it's 7:23. Let us discuss a couple of e-market models. Then maybe we can take a break after that. Okay. Again, on my left hand side, I'll be talking about different kinds of e-market models. On right hand side, I have given examples to understand you. This is not something from your syllabus. Don't worry. You need not remember this. It's just that to make you understand what is this concept means. E-market model. The first one is portal. Okay. Here, it's a gateway or entry point to the internet. So the example I have given, if you go to this example, okay, it's not that hard and fast rule. Portal means always yahoo.com. No, it's just one of the example. So if you go to this website, let me see if I can take you there. Yeah, it's working. I just clicked on this website. So after you come to this website, what you're seeing here, if you want to understand, if you want to read through updates about IPL, you can come and read through the IPL. If you want to read through or get some insights about finance, what is happening in the day on the country, on the finance side, lifestyle updates. So a lot of trending terms, COVID-19 in India. So anything what you want to know from that home page, it is redirecting to different places. Okay. This is called portal. Okay. This is an example of portal. Now, let me tell you all these terms. Then if you have any doubts, we can further discuss. What is meant by e-shop or e-tailers? E-shop means a single company's website, direct sale to customers. The examples I have given, www.mi.com or Bata. Let's say if I go to Bata website, what I can buy from them? All I can buy is Bata product. Okay, but under Bata, I can buy some shoes or for myself or your parents or a kids or a spouse. So you can buy, but ultimately you can only buy Bata product and especially the footwear. Similarly, I have also given mi.com where I can see all the MI related products. So it could be mobiles, whatever MI produces, could be mobiles or some household security cameras and all those stuff. So if you see a specific company website, it's called e-shop, okay, electronic shop, electronic mode shop. It doesn't mean that the physical electrical shops, okay. What is the difference between the Amazon or a Flipkart platform versus this Bata? On Amazon platform, anybody can go and register as a seller and sell your product. Example, even if you are selling some product, you can register yourself as a seller on Amazon and still customers can buy from you, okay. Whereas in Bata, let's say you make your custom shoes, leather shoes, you have that business with you from your grandparents, you have the traditional home business, but if you want to sell your shoes or any other footwear, can you sell on Bata platform? No, they won't allow you. That website is only dedicated for their company business, so where their company products only saleable. So that's what e-shop means. Whereas e-mall, this is what the discussion we were talking about. It's a conglomeration, means a group. Conglomeration means group of different shops, okay. Could be general stores or specialized stores. Example, in Amazon.in, you can buy any product starting from clothes, grocery, electronics, anything, household decor items. So you can buy from different category of items. Again, all those items are not produced or sold by Amazon. There are hundreds of suppliers or sellers who register on their platforms, sell their products. So this is a general stores means. Specialized stores, example, on 99acres.com. This is actually a real estate related website where if you want to sell your house property, you can register there. If you want to sell your plot, open land, you can register there. Customers can come and buy it. So even here, the entire products are not owned by 99 acres. There could be an individual customers. They can register on your portal and sell their products. So that's called e-malls. E-auction. E-auction means where people will buy and sell through auction. So I don't think it has a bigger usage in the market, but basically eBay came into that model, e-auction, where somebody can give a product bidding, and whoever have given a highest bid, the product will be sold to them. It's called e-auctions. And then buyer aggregators. This is an example of Zomato or a Groupon, where it brings together the large number of buyers, basically. So you take even the Redbus and all those stuff. What is the business? Example, Zomato manufactures the means or prepares the food? No. So lot of food restaurants registers on Zomato. Basically, it pulls the customers and gives the business to the restaurants. So they are called buyer aggregators. So Zomato will never involve in preparation of food. Okay. So these are all different terminology they are introducing. Just to make you understand contextually, I'm giving some realistic examples so that you can easily correlate. Another one is e-procurement. E-procurement means management of all procurement activities via electronic means. So the example I have given, if you see, it's a government website. If central government, government also lot of materials or services, right? So this is again to avoid that corruption, because all the government contracts, they want to bring the transparency. What they have done, they brought this online portal. Let's say they will be posting here, okay, this educational department requires somebody to manufacture their books. So you come in here, share your bid, how much you charge for this service or for this product. So all the demands from the government departments, they have to post it here. Even you and me can go and apply here. So it gives an equal opportunity for any person can bid for it. Let's say if I have given a particular product 10 rupees, the other persons are given more than 10 rupees. As I am the lowest bidder, I will get the contract, but everything is made through online, no physical interactions to bring the transparency in the transactions. So this type of model is called e-procurement, where their main all procurement related activities they manage via electronic means. E-distribution, it means they deliver entire products or services via electronic mode. The example I have given, Amazon Kindle. I'm not sure how many of you are aware that Amazon have a business of book selling as well. Let's say if you buy a particular book, you have an option. Let me show you. If I have this, where is this? Okay. Let me go to Amazon. If you see here, Kindle, some book. Okay, if you see this book, it says hardcover. That means they are selling this book only physically. Okay, but there could be certain books. Let me check. Are there any books available on Kindle? Hardcover, paperback. Yeah, let's see this. So if you see here, the same book is available in paperback. That means once you buy this book, you will get a physical copy of the book. Whereas Kindle edition means they will give you a soft copy. Okay. So in order to read that, they will not share it as a PDF. If they share it as a PDF, you will simply share that PDF to hundreds of people. So to avoid those copyright issues, what they do, you need to have a Kindle app on your mobile. Okay, so that requires a login access. Only if you buy it, automatically they will give you an ebook format. Okay, they are distributing this product on electronically. So that's what I'm trying to say. E-distribution. They are distributing the product electronically. This product you can't touch, you can't feel. All you can do is on that app you can read it. Again, they also have a separate device, Amazon Kindle. If you see here, yeah, this product is look like a tab. Okay, but this is Amazon Kindle. Whatever book you bought, to read that book, that will get downloaded automatically to this device, and you can read that book at any point of time at your convenience. If you bought a physical book, one, you need to carry, that is a risk. Second thing, as it's a paper, it is a risk for water or a fire. Whereas in this device, you can store hundreds of books and simply carry this device wherever you are going. So again, so it's a product how helpful to the readers a lot. So again, let's come back to our discussion. E-distribution means, sorry. I think I lost it. Give me a minute. Yeah. E-distribution means supplies the products and services directly to the individual businesses or customers. It helps the distributors to achieve efficiency by managing large volume of customers and automating orders, tracking orders, and communicating with partners. So as everything is done via electronic mode, here the distribution also happens on electronic mode. It's easy to track, right? So the example I have given, Amazon Kindle. Now the virtual community. So here, what is that? Let me read through the definition. The community of customers who share a common interest and use the internet to communicate. How many of you use Facebook? Mukta, e-procurement means where the procurement means from the government side. In that example I have given, government has given that website. What they say, I have given that website, right? Maybe open from your mobile or a desktop. You can see government departments, all the government departments, if they require certain materials, okay, they will place that requirement on that portal. So now you can, example, you are a stationery seller. You can go to that portal. If some department says, I need 1,000 notebooks, you can see the order and you can bid for it. You can say to the government, hey, I want to sell this product to you at this price. You can bid it. And they will similarly get a lot of interest from various stationery shop people, right? Whoever have given a best price, they will evaluate all your parameters and they will give an order for you. So all their procurements they made online. That's what e-procurement. I hope you understand. Yeah, Cars 24, Rishabh, right answer for e-auction exam correctly. OLX, It's not a buyer aggregator basically, because they're not only bringing the buyers, right? Even sellers also going there on their platform. See, certain category of businesses will fall in one or more models of it. Paytm Mall, Hitesh rightly said, it's an example of e-mall. Once you get into Paytm, or even if you see a lot of all these phone pay, previously they started with the business of payments. Now they are interacting with a lot of other service providers. Even from phone pay, you can go to Myntra, you can go to another service provider and get the things done. So from their platform, if you redirect to Myntra and buy from Myntra, Myntra has to share certain income to the phone pay platform. So it's again, the commercial part is different. Yeah. So you all use Facebook, right? On Facebook, there is how many of you know Facebook have Facebook Marketplace? How many of you know in Facebook you have Facebook Marketplace or Facebook communities? Basically, Marketplace or Facebook communities. How many of you know that there is a feature called Facebook communities? In Facebook communities, example, I'm interested in gardening. Okay, so there is a gardening Hyderabad gardeners, or that location name gardeners will be there. There will be one community page will be open where all the people from that location, we can join to that community. Okay, what happens with the similar interest? Lot of examples, some 1,000 plus or members are part of that community. What they do, every day they post a lot of news or articles about plants, because they're all interested in gardening. So they can say, hey, this plant is available at so and so rate in so and so the seller or a location. So whoever wants that plant, they can go to the shop, because one customer already give, it's a genuine review, right? See, unlike in Amazon where somebody you don't know about that person whether that review is genuine or not. Basically, in community portals, as you're all sharing common interest, you're all interested in gardening, a lot of discussions happens, and also a lot of people says that I bought this item from so and so shop, it has given at this price, whether this price is genuine or not. So I used to see a lot of this discussions on this. So this is what they're talking about, virtual community, where the community of customers who share a common interest and use the internet to communicate. It's called virtual community. Okay, I have given the examples, Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace. Okay, let's take this quick assessment, and then we can take a break for 10 minutes, and then we can assemble. I have seen that a couple of questions are there. Once we back from the break, we can take it. So students, quickly share your responses. Mr. JS sets up an online startup, which is like conglomeration of different shops situated in a convenient location of e-commerce, where customers can buy apparels, footwear, fitness accessories. Identify from the following which type of e-market he has set up. Yeah, Mansa, LinkedIn Learning, of course, LinkedIn platform, you can say it's a virtual community. E-mall, whoever have given answer B is the right answer. So we already discussed e-mall is nothing but conglomeration of different kind of shops. If I go back to here, e-malls is a conglomeration of different shops. So that's what they're referring there. Okay, no worries. Let's take a quick break for 10 minutes. Now it's a 7:40. We'll reassemble it at 7:50 p.m. sharp. And then I will answer a couple of queries, and then we'll move on to the next topics. So students, let's take a break for 10 minutes. Okay. Technical team will be taking a 10 minutes break. Hi students, hope you're back. Before I get started, let me see the chat questions, couple of questions I can see on the chat window. I'm going with last in, first out. There is a question from Monica. Could you please explain one-to-many marketing in traditional commerce? I think it's a small mistake here. It's a one-way marketing. So basically that means, Monica, in physical stores, how you will get to know there is a physical shop located there. So basically they have to somehow find a way to reach to you, right? So they basically talk about there is a new shop being opened, so please do come and buy at our shop. So in terms of, they might be advertising on the paper, they might be advertising on the pamphlets, or they might be putting some flexes somewhere near to your location so that you'll know that there is a shop nearby opening. So that's how they do the business. Whereas in e-commerce, so have you ever seen that there is a website being opened, so you buy under any flexi or something like that? No, right? So basically browsing on certain websites, so you keep getting a lot of pop-ups, right? When I say pop-up, small advertisements that is coming on the screen saying that if you want to buy a product, you can come to this platform and buy it. So that's how they mold the advertisements. Surabhi, yeah, I think you're also a victim onto it. That's absolutely true, Surabhi. Many times when you go on online, or even for that matter, physical shops, let's say a supermarket. See, the supermarket concept before comes into picture, you have a dedicated shops. You go there, you buy the product which you want. Whereas if you go to these big supermarkets, you might end up buying the products which you don't even need it because it get attract you. That's how they market it. Then there is a question from Hiral Parekh. Please explain buyer aggregator. See, first understand the term aggregator. Aggregator, basically, he tries to get the people together. Okay. If he's aggregating buyers, it's become buyer aggregator. I'll give you an example. Let's say Policy Bazaar. You might have heard about it, Policy Bazaar, where lot of insurance companies products, insurance policies are being offered as a product. So what does the Policy Bazaar does? The prospect person who want to buy an insurance policy, he will attract that person to come on their platform, and they can give lot of example. If I want to take a health insurance policy, either I have to go to that respective company's website to check that policy details and to buy it, right? But if I go to Policy Bazaar, if I will say I need a health insurance cover for 5 lakhs. So give me what are all the companies which is offering this health insurance policy, so that I can compare and take a best decision. So what is the job Policy Bazaar platform is doing? They're bringing together the buyers, the prospective customers on one platform so that they can take a commission out of it. So that's what the buyer aggregators. Even on Zomato, is Zomato actually preparing the food? They are not into restaurant business. What they're doing, all the people who want to have food, so they can come on their platform and place an order to a different restaurant. That restaurant is not belongs to Zomato at all, but the platform helps the buyers are coming together and placing an order. So these are all the buyer aggregators. Mukta, last question I'm taking now. We need to get into the next topics. So preferring customer reviews while buying a product is also a virtual community. I don't call it as a virtual community because maybe if you got a chance, get into Facebook. So there you have a community page based on your interest. Example, if you're interested in bike riding, there could be some bike rider groups on Facebook. So you share common interest. It not necessarily be end up having some commercial transaction where you share your common interest and discuss about a lot of things on that area of interest. So I hope I clarified your queries. Let's move on to the next topic. E-commerce business models. See, just remember students, previously we discussed, e-business models, e-market. Now we are talking about e-business models. Okay. So when we're discussing in the first slide for today about the definition of e-commerce, the last paragraph I said, there is a terminology about B2C, B2B, right? or C2C, these terminologies were there. I said there is a separate topic for that. We will discuss in detail. Now, this is the topic we are going to understand. What are all the various business models, and first and foremost, what do they mean? Now, if you see, I kept all these things in a tabular format. So, column 1, business, consumer, government. Again, the same columns I have given here. Okay, if the transaction, the business commercial transaction is happening between an organization, but between two organizations, it become a B2B transaction. Okay, being into chartered accountancy profession, definitely once you get into qualified or part of your articleship as well, you might come across these terminologies under various scenarios. So if somebody says what is meant by B2B, it's called the buyer and seller in that transaction is both our companies or businesses. We will come back with an examples. Don't worry. For now, just understand what is meant by B2B. The transaction is happening between business to business. Whereas if the transaction is happening, okay, read this entire chart from this direction. If the transaction is happening between business to a consumer, it becomes B2C. If the transaction is happening between a business and government, it becomes B2G. So similarly, just vice versa. If transaction is happening between consumer and business, is called C2B. So now you might ask a question, sir, what is the difference between C2B and B2C? Basically, the transaction is same. From whose direction you are seeing is matters. If you are seeing the transaction from business side, it becomes business to consumer. Whereas, and also who actually initiator of the transaction. If the transaction is getting initiated from business side, it becomes business to consumer. Whereas the other way around, if the transaction is originally initiated from customer, it becomes C2B. Just to clarify you further, in accounts we have debit note, credit note. Okay, let's say there is a buyer, there is a seller. We purchased the material, we are returning the material to seller. Okay, what note you are be doing it? You will be creating a debit note because you are selling to your supplier, hey, previously you have been credited in my books, now I am debiting you so that the balance get reduced. For the same transaction, if you see from the seller side, he will say that I will raise a credit note because previously you are in my debit side, means as a customer, my debit balance. As you are returning it, now I'm crediting you. Transaction is same. Who initiated that defines that transaction category. So if buyer is initiating it, he say it's a debit note. If it is coming from the supplier side, he says it's a credit note, right? Similarly, under B2C, C2B, ultimately the end part is one side is business, one side is consumer, but who initiated that categorizes the category. So if the transaction is happening between consumer to consumer, it becomes C2C. If the transaction is happening between consumer to government, it becomes C2G. Similarly, if the transaction is happening between government to consumer, it becomes G2C. Now, you might have $1 million question. Sir, you have given this tabular format. Why you have not filled anything here? Guys, students, can you tell me why I have not given anything here? Students, any specific reason why these two boxes are empty? Faster. I'm waiting for your responses. Any specific reason these boxes are not filled? Yeah, Himanshu, as you said, Ola and Ubers are buyer aggregators. True. Ola never owns any car by themselves. Basically, they are buyer aggregators. Now I am seeing the responses. Let me go through it. Muktavya said, why this field is blank? Because government cannot do a transaction with government. That is the response from Mukta. Is it true, Mukta? No. If you see there, a lot of departments, example, there is a secretariat in your state, okay, where all the elected government operates their activities. That secretariat requires electricity. Who actually gives the electricity distribution? Electricity department from the government. Whether is this transaction means at the month end when the electricity bill comes to the secretariat department has to pay the electricity bill. There is no compromisation on that. They have to pay the electricity bill. At the same time, if there is any water consumption, they have to pay. Right? Transactions happens. It just because in your syllabus they have not discussed. So I just want to make sure that you're all following my discussion. That's the reason I have raised this question. Transactions do happen in this category as well. See, if you have B2G, definitely G2B is also possible. Okay, it's just that this combination for some reason is not covered in your syllabus, so we are not discussing on it. So you understand the possible combinations, right? Now let us try to apply so far what we discussed about e-markets to this examples. Now I want to hear from you. That is the reason I specifically given these boxes empty. You have to give me some examples for this category. Business to consumer. Can you visualize any transactions where one party to the transaction is business, the another party is a consumer? Okay, can you tell me? And especially take the clue from this definition. What means which kind of transactions falling under this? Retailers selling product and services to consumers. So can you give me any examples of these kind of businesses or transactions? Neha Gupta, no, I'm sorry. It's not that government is fulfilling its administration functions. At the end, they look at it as a commercial transaction only. From the electricity department point of view, whether it's a government or a public or a company, they don't differentiate. You consumed my electricity, you pay the bill. Simple. Now tell me any examples on B2C category. The definition says retailers selling product and services to consumers. Okay. So all the transactions, most of the transactions we perform is business to consumer only, right? Let's say on Amazon platform where some seller, means that seller is a company. Basically, it's not an individual person who is selling the products to you. He should have registered as a business or in the government records. So he's selling products to you on Amazon platform. Or even for that matter, that Bata example, what we have seen, they are selling the products to the customers, right? One side, some shop or a company, we are not bothered about the legal shape of it. It could be registered as a partnership firm or a legal entity, LLP. I'm not concerned about it. So one end to the transaction is a company or a business. The other side is an individual human being. So all these transactions fall under this category. Now, if you can recollect from our e-market models, which models can come and sit under B2C category? Can you tell me now? Which models? We just talked about the buyer aggregator examples, right? So those are all one of the examples of B2C category, where the restaurants, example in Zomato case, restaurant is a shop or a business. They are selling their food products to consumers. So that is how these two concepts are interlinked. If you try to apply those definitions and fill in these blanks, you will be able to understand the connectivity between these definitions. Amazon dealing with Adidas, Nike shoes, sites, money control, MRF selling tires to Hero Motor Car. I think you're gone to a different category. I'm talking about B2C, where one side is business, another side is consumer. And when I say consumer, it's an individual customer, not again a business. If the transaction is happening between two businesses, that become a B2B. See, the transaction is happening between two businesses. One side is also business, the another side is a business. Example, many transaction, what we can say on one side, let's say we have seen the e-commerce or a traditional commerce, right? The product is manufactured by some company and there is a wholesaler. Okay. this transaction become B2B, because here on one side there is a factory who actually manufacturing the product. There is another side, this is also a company. He is not buying this product to consume it, he is buying this product to resell it. Wholesaler is selling to retailer. Here also it become B2B transaction. Now the retailer is selling to individual customer. Here it become B2C. Hope you understand the difference between B2B and B2C. In B2C case, the same product, who is the parties to the transaction? If both are businesses, it become B2B category. If one side is business, other side is consumer, it become B2C. So now we understand these two categories. The third thing is B2G, from business to government. Government to trade and exchange information with various business organizations. So example, business to government, let's say we file lot of businesses has to file lot of returns. Okay, could be GST return or income tax filings, all those compliances. So in that transaction, one side is business, other side is government. So that's called B2G transaction. Okay, so in simple terms, take any transaction, who are the parties to the transaction? If the parties are business to business, it become B2B. If the party is business to government, it become B2G. Simple. Now let's quickly go through the next set of models. Consumer to consumer. So as you guys have given examples like OLX. Let's say in OLX, assume that the OLX is a platform, okay? But there is a buyer, there is a seller. Basically, these are individual people who want to sell their used items. OLX is just giving a platform for you to sell it. Maybe they may charge certain fees. Nowadays, they are coming with certain charge for certain kind of items. Not every item they charge. Okay. So if you see there, seller wants to sell his example used mobile. Okay. He want to sell it. He will post it on the OLX. Hey, this is the purchase price. Now I want to give it for, let's say the price is 15,000. I want to give it for 10,000. He post that ad on the OLX platform. So again, there is an individual person, right? Basically, companies will not come and buy on OLX. Predominantly, if you see their customers, they're individual people only, individual human beings. So the buyer will go their platform. So he will check all the details. And if he is interested, he will buy this product. If you see this transaction, the transaction between buyer and seller qualifies under C2C category, customer to customer or consumer to consumer. Whereas if OLX charges any amount from the seller, hey, you are using my platform to sell your product, so you have to pay me some 50 rupees as the transaction charge. Assume that if they have charged. In that transaction, it becomes B2C again, because the transaction is happening from business to consumer. He is charging it. That's what now anyway, come back to this consumer to consumer. The transaction happening between these two people become C2C. Now another one is C2B, consumer to business. Consumer set the prices and companies bids to offer. Okay, this become consumer to business. Let me tell you, this is an example of Policy Bazaar. Let's say Policy Bazaar, where again, we are not talking about Policy Bazaar here. There is an insurance service provider, some insurance company, and there is an individual person. He want to buy some health insurance policy. He came to this platform and he is setting certain criteria. I want a health insurance policy for so-and-so age group and so-and-so coverage, something like that. He will see all these criteria, and all the insurance companies start giving their product offerings. For this criteria, insurance company 1, I charge some 5,000 per annum. I charge 6,500 per annum. I charge some 4,000 per annum. These are all the features of my product. These are all the features of my product. So this is how the information will come back to you. So here you are going to the businesses and asking, hey, I want this. You come and quote it. So this is what they are setting the prices. It's not literal term prices. You said it, basically the terms and conditions. So if you see here, this transaction qualifies under C2B, consumer to business, where you are taking the lead and getting the things done. So just follow the examples. I'll definitely come back to your queries for sure. So once you've gone through the entire examples, you will understand. Now, consumer to government. So visualize any transaction where one side is consumer, another side is government will be there. Example, I am paying my income tax. In that transaction, one side is a consumer, the other side is government. So this transaction qualifies under C2G category. In the previous couple of minutes ago, we discussed about we are going to get a birth certificate from the government. Even in that transaction, one side is a consumer, another side is a government. So these are all the examples of consumer to government category. Then the other way around, government to consumer, where consumer to provide feedback or ask information about government authority. So the transaction is initiated from government to consumer. So let's say let me see that examples. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So the examples what they have taken, let's say the encumbrance certificate. If you want to buy certain land or a registration, basically you check with the government and this information has been provided by the government to the consumer. This is the owner and this is the person currently holding it and this is the entire history of the land records. So a lot of information governments share to the individual customers. So all these things classifies under government to consumer category. So let me see any other examples where even if you have any let's take that income tax as an example. Usually what you do on the year end, government asks all the taxpayers, hey, the financial year is coming to an end and you are due to pay your income tax. At that stage, that transaction, okay, where government is talking to the taxpayers, this is called G2C, government to consumer, basically, okay. And if the taxpayer pays back to government, that transaction become C2G, simple terms. So who basically initiating the transaction, that qualifies under that particular category. So these are the different models of businesses. Now, if you club the e-market versus business models, let's try to see a couple of examples here. Let's say consumer, talk about business to consumer. In business to consumer case, which market model can fall in? Where there is on one side, there is a business, the another side is a customer. So can we say e-malls fall under the category of business to consumers, right? So basically on Amazon.in, you log into the portal and you will buy the product. So they are selling the products to you. Or even you can say e-shops is also falling under the B2C category. Example, Bata is the example, right? So they are selling the products to the individual customers. So these fall under B2C category. Example on the e-auctions, people buy and sell through auction. So it fall under C2C category. This is what I'm saying. Try to combine these two concepts so that you will get better understanding of these terminology. Absolutely. Raghavan, as you rightly said, ration. It's a government is providing the ration to the consumers. It's one of the good example, Raghavan. Appreciate it. E-Seva, again, in E-Seva, first and foremost, government says, I am offering all these services on digital platform. So if you break the transaction to that extent, it becomes G2C. But if the consumer goes to E-Seva and requested for a birth certificate or some document, that becomes C2G. That's it. In the entire transaction, so some part becomes G2C, some part becomes C2G. I think there is a question from students how to identify whose side the transaction is initiated. So in the entire transaction, in the first stop, if you take the first part, it becomes G2C, the second part becomes C2G. Simple. tax credit given by department, Puja, yes, that become G2C, because the transaction, it again, when the taxpayer demanded the government saying that I have to get back this tax refund, that becomes C2G. He is initiating the transaction. When the government pays back that amount, it becomes G2C. Simple. Yeah, good. So this is what I would like to convey. Try to combine these two topics together so that you will understand how it happens. Okay. Now, let us quickly see the e-commerce future. Basically, they just want to talk about how it is growing, how rapidly. If you see, India is going to become the second largest e-commerce market in the world by 2034. You need not worry about this trivia. I believe these have been removed from your chapter as well. So all they want to communicate is how rapidly it is going. If you see here, from 13,97,000 crores will be reached by 2027. This is approximately 6 times growth in 10 years. So this is what all they want to communicate with the help of some numbers. Let's take a quick assessment. Okay. Students, can you please, yes, Jaspreet, subsidy is a government to consumer. Absolutely. Toll tax, you are paying the government, C2G, right? I think you got it, the concept. So I could able to see more realistic examples beyond your book. So this is what basically you guys need to learn. It's not that you just means what is there in the book, reading and writing the exam. So that will not help you to progress, because you are in professional career course, right? When you say professional, you're going to apply all this knowledge to your real life, your practical or a personal or a professional life. So good. I'm happy to see that you guys are able to bring a lot of examples. That means you're trying to apply that knowledge, what you're learning in the class, to your real lifetime. Great. So let's quickly see the answers. For the first question, it's e-commerce, 1D. For the second question, it's a C. Yes. Samriddhi, correct answer. Samriddhi. Hitesh, D, correct answer. Okay. Now, let's go to the another important topic, components of e-commerce. So this topic, if you see in one simple means in one way, it becomes very easy. But if you see theoretically, it becomes a very lengthy topic. Okay. But let's try to understand the components of e-commerce. See, what do you mean by components? Basically, in simple terms, part. In e-commerce, what are all the parts that will constitute an e-commerce so in order to perform a transaction, in simple terms, in order to take any transaction which you are doing on online, to perform the transaction, what are all the forces that support you to complete the transaction become the components of it. Okay, let me tell you here. So there are 6 components we are going to see on the components of e-commerce. Students, remember, it doesn't require any, means you need not mug it or by heart it. Very easy to write an answer for this question. As I said, just visualize. When you are doing an e-commerce transaction, who are all participants or which are all things helps you to perform the transaction, become the components of it. Let me give you the answers, then you will see. In simple terms, in very high level, if you want to buy something on Amazon, so now itself we can say one component to this transaction is user, means you and me who actually buying it. The another component of the transaction is the vendor, e-commerce vendor, could be Amazon or a Flipkart or a Bata or mi.com, whoever it is. Okay. So in that transaction, one is the user, another one is the e-commerce vendor. What else you need? You need network or internet connectivity to do this transaction, right? The another thing is you need a website, web portal, where you can go and check all the items and place an order. Okay. So far we covered 4 components. The remaining 2 components, we covered users, vendors, network, and what else? Payment gateways. Ultimately, you need to make a payment to the vendors, right? Payment gateways. So let us see all these things. Sorry, I missed the technology infra. So you need means to facilitate this transaction on online, Amazon or a Flipkart people need to maintain a lot of infrastructure. If you remember on the disadvantages when we are discussing about, we talked about high startup cost, and especially they talked about computers, desktop servers. So where they will store all this information, how they will process all these orders. So a lot of technology infra is there on the back end to facilitate this seamless transaction. So you have seen, right, the 6 components. If you have been asked in the examination, you need not mug it. You can just visualize an e-commerce transaction, and you can quickly write an answer for these 6 components. One is the person who is doing the transaction, and I am doing on Amazon, so they call it as an e-commerce vendor. And to do this, I need an internet and also a website, and also finally to make a payment gateway. Basically, payment gateway, what it does, you are a user. Okay, let's say you have some ICICI bank card or bank account. There is an Amazon here. When you place an order, you need to transfer the funds to Amazon, right? So to facilitate this, there will be some service providers who helps this transaction to do this activity. So those are called payment gateways. Example, Razorpay. So there are a lot of service providers here who help you to settle the transaction in the bank side from the customer to the Amazon, means the vendor, e-commerce vendor, to settle, to manage fund transfer, means fund deduction from one account to another account. So all these things are done by the payment gateways. So that is what the payment gateway. Let us quickly see here. Users, as I said, it's an individual or organization. Anybody using the e-commerce platform become one of the component of e-commerce. The second thing is e-commerce vendor. In simple terms, that Flipkart or Amazon or a Bata or MI, whoever actually owns that e-commerce platform, they become the vendor. So we are going to discuss in detail. There are a couple of areas we need to further discuss on this. So there are, in the coming slides, we are going to discuss in detail about e-commerce vendors, and also on the technology infra side, where what they're saying, it should be scalable, easy to use, convenient and responsive design. So basically, it should support the business to be able to place orders and without any issues to the customers. So scalability means expandability. Let's say Amazon or Flipkart, usually they maintain certain amount of servers or the system capacity. On special sales, example, on a regular day, if they are getting on their website 1 lakh transaction, on Big Billion or a Great Indian Festival, these special day sales, the same 1 lakh transactions become 1 million transactions also. If the volume of the transactions apparently or suddenly, if it increases tremendously, their systems should also be ready to accept those many transactions and get processed. Many times, initially, when Flipkart brought Big Billion Days, I'm not sure how many of you know the fact, the entire Flipkart website become kind of shut down. Customers are not able to place the order. Then they started complaining it. Hey, you guys are doing false marketing. When you say a lot of products have been offered on sale, but none of the customers are able to place an order on your website, then what is the point of giving all these offers? So basically, they learned from that issue. From next time onwards, they upgraded their systems or technology infrastructure. So they can assess. Example, in normal days, if I'm having 1 lakh transactions per day, on special days, I'm getting 10 lakh. So my capacity should increase it by minimum 15 times, 20 times to ensure that if the 10 lakh goes to 15 lakh transactions or a 20 lakhs transactions, my system should be responsive. So they take very prestigious. So you can check on the Google as well. When they introduced this Big Billion Days, the same thing happened. The Flipkart website was not working properly. None of the customers are able to buy the items. Lot of orders have been cancelled or on hold. Customer payments got deducted, but the order was not confirmed. All these issues happened, and people started criticizing Flipkart like left and right. So on the next day, there is a sorry letter issued by Flipkart saying that the technology infrastructure was not in a position to support, so they have taken care. That's what they have done. So from the reputation part, having this technology, enough infrastructure is very much important for big businesses. So of course, you need the internet or a network connectivity to perform this transaction. Web portal is nothing but the front end page where you can access the product and buy it. Finally, the payment gateway, as I already told you, to settle the bank transactions, payments from the customer versus the e-commerce vendor. The payment gateway is nothing but a service provider, is an intermediary who take care of that fund transfer and fund deduction part. So these are all the 6 components of e-commerce. Now let us go through a little more detail about e-commerce vendor. So what they're saying about, so just in your mind, keep in mind, when I talk about e-commerce vendor, as many of you are familiar with Amazon or a Flipkart, just remember them as e-commerce vendor. Now you can understand all these points very easily. So we'll be discussing about e-commerce vendors and the technology infrastructure. Then the last topic is architecture of network systems. Maybe if time didn't permit, we can continue the last topic tomorrow. No worries. We have a good amount of time this time. So even second day, we can cover that architecture. I don't want to rush it because that is also a very important topic and bit of technology involved. So I want you to listen with a full concentration. But these 2 topics are very easy, as I said. So under the e-commerce vendors, there are certain things they need to take care of it. What they're saying here, suppliers and supply chain management. Okay. In chapter number 2, there is a financial and accounting system. When we are talking about different modules in ERP, I remember one of the student was asking, what do you mean by supply chain management? So basically, right from procurement, okay, right from procurement of material, purchase of material or service till delivery to the end customer, the entire cycle is called supply chain management. This is the business terminology. Okay. So what they're saying here, under Amazon, we all know that all the products are not sold by Amazon or a Flipkart. Okay. Lot of outside sellers are being registered on their website and selling their product. So you need to ensure that they are properly screened, means they should be genuine. How you can validate? Maybe when somebody wants to register on their platform, maybe you can ask the GST number. When you ask this number, how they can get the GST number? Means that respective seller, he would have submitted a lot of documentation to the government and then only they would have got. So that means the seller authenticity is already established. He is a genuine seller. Government will not simply issue a GST number, right? They would have asked your proof of identity, proof of address, all the owner details, all those details they would have inquired, and finally they would have issued the GST registration. So these platforms should get all those statutory compliance requirements so that they can verify whether that person is a genuine person or not, and also ensure that the entire supply chain management, right from, as I told you, the moment you place an order, they will be communicating that order back to the manufacturer or a seller. So that entire communication should be done very properly so that the order goes to the respective seller and he ships back that material. Sometimes if you see on platforms, the shipping is taken care by Amazon or a Flipkart. Sometimes the seller himself will manage the shipping. So that also plays a role. If the Amazon or a Flipkart guys are managing the shipping, they do very properly. Whereas that local guys, they might have sent via Indian Post or some local means courier companies with whoever offering low cost. So there is always a risk that the shipment might not come properly. So many times that happens. So, and this entire process you have to manage very carefully so that customers will keep coming to your platform. The another thing is they need to manage the warehouse operations. As I said, certain suppliers, what they do, example, if I want to say Amazon fulfillment center, Flipkart fulfillment center, they call it as fulfillment center, where certain stock they maintain in a metropolitan cities. Example, if you see, lot of days, these e-commerce platforms are offering 1-day delivery, same day delivery, 2-day delivery. If that actual seller is somewhere located, some different part of the country, how that 1-day or a 2-day delivery is happening now? Definitely no. They know which are all the products basically customers are keep buying by using that machine learning or big data analysis. They identify the most bought items and they might get ready those inventory readily in the city itself. Example, if you are placing an order from Chennai or Hyderabad or Delhi, they might have their own fulfillment centers in that city itself. So the moment you place an order within the city, how much time it takes for them to ship it, So they'll be able to ship it on the same day. Definitely it will not take more than 8 or 10 hours from one part of the city to deliver to another part of the city, right? So they manage the warehouse operations also. There they have to take enough care. All these operations are managed seamlessly. Shipping and returns, as I said, properly they have to ensure that it has been delivered properly. Even when you are picking it up, ensure that you're getting the proper items. We're going to talk about in next day, tomorrow, a couple of controls they need to maintain, especially on day two. The topic is risks and controls in e-business. So one of the control is ensure when you are taking back that item from the customer, you need to have certain controls to validate the customer is returning a genuine product to you. And also e-commerce catalog and product display. Catalog is nothing but a list of items what they're selling. Means if you see certain e-commerce businesses on their platforms, the user interface, means the screen, the way they are presenting items is not that great. Personal opinion, okay, it's my personal opinion. On Amazon or a Flipkart, if I search a particular item, I see on Amazon the search results are very close to my search item, whereas in Flipkart I search a particular item, it gives some random results. Sometimes it's not even related to the word I have given. So they need to ensure that on their platforms, this catalog maintenance, and once the search results, when it is presenting to the customer, they should be displayed in more user friendly way, so that I can get more more convenience in buying or using their website, so that I can make the transaction comfortably. So due to these reasons, many times I will not go to the other platform. I keep buying from this platform. Marketing and loyalty programs, as we all know. So if you buy items from us, so you keep getting some reward points, and post that you can redeem that reward points for any of your payments or a purchase or something like that. So they need to ensure all these programs are there. Showroom and offline purchase. Example, user experience outlets. If you see a lot of basically when MI and these brands came, they don't have their own outlets in India. So they use it to sell only online, Amazon or a Flipkart. So many times what customers have a feeling, hey, before buying, I want to see this mobile once by keeping that mobile in my hand, whether it is properly fitting or not, whether the screen size is what I need it or not. So they want to get that experience. But initial days, they don't have their physical outlets. So latter part of time, what they have done, they opened user experience outlet. Basically, they won't sell it, or they don't focus on selling the products, but they display all their products there, where you and me can go and experience how physically that product will look like or feel. So once I get a physical look and feel if I like it, maybe I can buy from them, or I can go back to some e-commerce platform and buy the product. So they intentionally create this user experience outlet. So that also can happen. And different ordering methods, cash on delivery. Now, if you see that pay later. So this is the trending term which I'm seeing now, pay later. So you buy now, you can pay after some point of time. Even I see recently Ola also comes with Ola postpaid, where they themselves, you and me need not ask them. So I think I'm seeing there some 2,000 or 5,000 credit they are giving to the customer. If I use their Ola services, I need not pay till 2,500. So the amount get deducted from this limit, and maybe at a month end, I have to pay back all the rights which I have used them. So there are different ordering methods of they are providing now. Guarantees. If you buy a product from us, so this is the guarantee policy, and usually they represent like 1 year manufacturer warranty or a 6 months warranty or something like that. Privacy policy, how means the information which you are sharing with us on our platform, how we are going to safeguard it, how we are going to use it, are we going to share this information to any other people? So all those things should be captured in the privacy policy. And also especially on the security part, ensure that since I'm coming to your website, my transaction and my data should be secure. So this example I'm seeing, HTTPS means secured socket layer, means the data is transmitted in a very secured way. Nobody can tamper the data when the data is being transferred. So you need to ensure that all these things are taken care by an e-commerce vendor, so that you can make a good business. So students, read through these topics from your textbook as well. So if you find any doubt on day 2, you can feel free to ask. Now I'm moving on to the technology infrastructure. I'll not take much time, maybe 5 minutes or so. So on the technology infrastructure part, as we know, one is computers, servers, databases, all we need. Don't worry. Under architecture topic, we are going to understand these further. But basically, what are all the components under technology? Think from the e-commerce vendor. See, all we are talking from the e-commerce vendor's perspective. What is that? Let's take some product. Where do you think all these images are being stored? Let me open this specific product. If you see here, on this Amazon platform, you are seeing an image
presenting
and
HP245.
Sorry, and there is also a video of that product display and various images, right? So basically, all these have been stored in the digital library. Is again, if you go in technical terms, again it's a server where they store all this information, but they call it as a digital library, where the library of digital objects, all these images, videos of the products have been stored. It's called digital library, simple terms. The another thing is data interchange. Data interchange, where it comes into picture, as we have seen. Yeah, let me show you there. In the first slide, in the e-commerce, when the order is confirmed, okay, we said that customer on one side, merchant on the other side, both get an email communication, and post that there will be a warehouse where the order will be transferred to the warehouse to ship the material to the customer, right? How do you think all this communication happens? It is via electronic data interchange. Okay, we are not getting into the technicality of it. All they're doing is just introducing this terminology to you. Okay, there is a technical concept called electronic data interchange. Means electronically they are transmitting the data to the respective people. This is called EDI. So with this, means I'm just giving the real-time parlance. When the order is confirmed, how you're getting an email confirmation, hey, an order is confirmed, and also how the merchant is also getting notified, how finally this communication goes to warehouse to ship that material. So all this communication happens via data interchange, EDIs. So you understand what is meant by EDI, and also the digital library and some basic. So these are all computers are needed to manage this entire technology infrastructure. Now from the mobile apps or a website point of view, nowadays if you see, lot of e-commerce businesses are having their own mobile apps. So how now on system, I open Amazon.in, whereas on your mobile, you could have installed Amazon app or a Flipkart app or the respective e-commerce related apps you would have installed on your website. So if you see that mobile app will have all these modules. So what is that? Storefront module. Front module is nothing but the moment you log in to open your Amazon app, so whatever you see, that become your mobile storefront module. Ticketing module. Ticketing module means where they have given lot of coupons to the customers. And advertising and marketing module, where they talk about lot of offers on the products. If you go to see, module is nothing but visualize it as a screen or a place in that app. So you can navigate to the different screens, and what is objective of each screen, a different purpose. So in advertising and marketing screen, if you go to the app, where you can see a lot of product offerings, bank offers, all those things you can see here. And there is a separate screen where you can reach out to the customer and any information is needed. And also finally, the payment gateway, what we talked about, payment area where you can store your bank information and finally clear the payment. So it's just that they're trying to explain you, if you're accessing the same e-commerce website on a mobile app, what are all the various screens, what is the functionality of each screen is what they said. So again, it doesn't read any technical knowledge. We are all familiar with how mobile application, how we place an order. So just read through this again, students. Ticketing module, what do you mean by ticketing module or a front module? I already given a basic understanding of what does that each screen means. So this is what basically the components of the e-commerce. This is one of the important questions from the examination point of view. So that's the reason I'm emphasizing again. Don't worry. On your book, it might span across multiple pages, but the text, if you read it, it's very simple to understand. So first and foremost, you can easily write the 6 components by remembering or visualizing an e-commerce transaction. And under each head, you can write easily what do you mean by users. So who will be part of users, right? So only 2 things under e-commerce, vendor and technology, you have some additional information. Okay, but nevertheless, it's easy. Don't worry about the textbook explanation. So I will stop here. The architecture of network systems, I would like to continue from day 2 because it's an important topic again. So it bit of some technicality where we talk about what is meant by 2-tier architecture and 3-tier architecture, and what are all the different advantages and disadvantages. Finally, we will apply that concept to the e-commerce transaction, what becomes which kind of type. So I think we can finish in day 2, first 10-15 minutes of this topic. Maybe it might take some 15-20 minutes, but no worries. We have a good quality time. We can quickly finish and then move on to the rest of the topics in day 2. So I would like to hear from you students, any doubts we have discussed so far. And another reminder, for every session, I'm giving the some exercise to the Board of Studies team. They already uploaded all those things on the mobile application. Try to practice those MCQ questions so that it will re-emphasize how far you will be able to follow up. And if you have any doubts on those questions, we can discuss. I would like to wait for any doubts for day 1. If not, maybe we can wind up the session. Let me see if there are any questions. Okay, I'm going now with FIFO basis. Yeah, Himanshu, as you said, under the supplier category, yes, you have how you know, means how we have KYC, know your customer. Similarly, for them, Amazon perspective, the suppliers will become also one of their customers. So yeah, they'll seek a lot of information to ensure that the seller is genuine. Mukta Vyas, where are you reading that shipping is supplementary and complementary? If you can give me more context, maybe I'll try to explain. Saipa Virali, yes, the time is up. That's why I'm stopping here. I'm just taking the Q&A. Difference, Mukta Vyas, there is a question from Mukta. Difference between privacy policy and security under e-vendors. E-vendors, okay, e-commerce vendor. See, privacy policy basically means on let's say on any e-commerce platform, when you're registering a user account, you are sharing your name, you are sharing your email address, you might be sharing your mobile number. These are personal information, right? So they should give an assurance this information is not shared to the unauthorized people. They should safeguard your data safely, or else if they would have sell all these data, see market, if you know, if maybe for 1,000 mobile numbers, some customers are there, some companies are there who will pay money and take this data for marketing purposes. How you see, on every day we will be getting some random calls. Sir, there is an offer from so and so bank or from so and so company. Would you be interested? How they know our mobile number? Somewhere you would have given your mobile number. Somebody would have sold the data to the another company. So they are utilizing the data and reaching out to us. So these companies, wherever you are sharing this information, they should have a privacy policy, means safeguarding our privacy, to saying that, hey, you are sharing certain information to us. We use this information for our purposes only, intended purposes only. We will not use this information, will not disclose this information to any unauthorized people. And also, many places there is asking a disclaimer. Are you interested to receive any email notifications or any product alerts or any offerings from us? If you say yes, then only they are supposed to send all those offer details to your emails. If you say no, they should not send. You can raise a complaint on them as well. I hope you understand mean by privacy policy. Security policy is when I'm doing a transaction, let's say I will show you that website. Are you seeing here? I'm not sure. I don't know how to maximize it. Okay, it is maximizing the content. On any website, there is a lock symbol on the address bar. That means if you see here, connection is secure. You can further read through it. What does that mean? See, I am sitting in my home. Okay, I am accessing this information which is located somewhere. Now, if I want to buy this item, I will be placing an order on this item, right? So when I'm placing an order, sharing my bank details, the data has to go back to the Amazon server. Maybe it might be located not even India, some other country. When the data is being transferred from my home to the respective server, in between somebody can tamper, because it goes via internet, right? Somebody can tamper the data. So to avoid all these things, this is one of the security mechanism where it says if it says it's a secured, there are certain protocols, TCP/IP. So using that security protocols, the data have been transmitted so that nobody in between can tamper the data. So this kind of assurance have to give. Always ensure, students, it's a real-time tip as well. I believe many of you would have known, whenever you are doing any online transactions, ensure that this secured symbol should be there, either this lock symbol or HTTPS. Okay, there are certain websites only they start with HTTP. That means if you are transmitting any data on that website, if you are doing any transactions, the data is not secure. Somebody can hamper it. I hope I understand. I explained what is meant by privacy and security policy difference. Okay. Neha Gupta, EDI means electronic data interchange from the abbreviation part. Basically, you are transmitting the data via electronically through internet. Let's say you placed an order on Amazon website, right? The moment you place an order, you are getting an order confirmation, one on your mobile as SMS confirmation, and also on your registered email. They send, you purchased this item, these are all the order details. How that email is getting triggered with the order invoice and all those stuff, it's a technology that's called EDI, electronic data interchange, through which the data have been sent to the customer. Okay, now Mansha, it's not guarantee that, see, maintaining all those security protocols, proper security team is not that easy. Okay, certain companies will offer, certain companies will not, depends on their financial capability. So because all this requires some amount to be spent, that's why whenever you are doing a transaction, especially if you are purchasing anything online, ensure that that website is secured, HTTPS, or that lock symbol should be there on the website URL. Hiral, there is a question from Hiral. What is the meaning of pivotal hands? I'm not sure from where you got this word. Give me the context. Clerical errors means, Monica, human errors. Means when you ask somebody to do a job manually, there is a chance that he might do some errors. That's what clerical error. Hope I have answered all the questions. Good. Students, I'll be stopping the session for today at here. The last topic left over for day one is architecture of network systems. As it's an important topic, as already we ran out of time, I'll continue from day two. This is the only topic left for day one. So just recap what we have discussed so far before we get into day two, so that it's easy to connect the topics or discussions what we had. Let me see. Yeah. So thank you so much, students. Let's connect on day two for the rest of the topics, where we're discussing about the risks and controls, more of different laws, guidelines and laws on the e-commerce part. So more or less we'll be finishing about e-commerce on day two. On day three, we'll be talking about digital payments, emerging technologies. Very interesting. Day 3 and day 4 is much more interesting topics, especially on the technology per se. So far for day 1 and day 2, as it's an e-commerce, more or less will be very used, means using these technologies, easy to follow. Okay, Fine. Thank you so much, students. Let's connect on day 2. Thank you so much. Concluded, Ramji.